suspect is deceased as well, and then multiple victims are in critical condition. We do believe that we will find some additional victims once we find the area where the fire was.
Yeah, we begin with breaking news this Sunday, a horrific shooting at a Mormon church about an hour from Detroit. One person is dead, many others in critical condition after this terrifying chain of events. According to Grand Blanc police, the suspected shooter, a 40-year-old male, drove through the entrance of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, exiting his vehicle and opening fire on hundreds of churchgoers. During these events, a fire broke out in the church, one that police believe was intentionally set by the shooter. Officials say they believe they'll find additional victims as the scene is secured. The fire, though, in the last few minutes has been extinguished. Joining me now to discuss is retired senior FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole. Mary, thank you for being with us. I'm sad you're with us on this unfortunate occasion this afternoon. You've seen what, the images and the information that has come out of Michigan. What are your thoughts on what is happening right there and what happened?
So right now, as I watch things unfold, I know that they have a lot of work to identify what the motivations were that really caused this individual to take these actions this morning. And I think it is really too premature to say, was this somebody who was upset specifically with that church or people at that church? Or were the motivations broader than that? He wanted to blame somebody for example, his life circumstances. So it's really too soon to know. But as they get more information, they'll be able to really narrow it. And I think the one thing I've seen over the last almost 30 years is that these kinds of events start in the brain. And what do I mean by that? They start thinking about it and planning it, and they're fueled by other cases that they see on the news. Unfortunately, that's our reality right now. So this was not something that just snapped in this person and they decided to act out. He'd been thinking about it. So now the question is for how long and for why, and why did he target that church? And that is what the FBI and the other law enforcement agencies will be working very long hours to identify.
Mary, as a profiler, someone who really looks inside the minds of people who commit crimes like this, what kind of person typically does it take to commit a crime like this, to target a target like a church where there are people, families, children, and they're clearly going to be caught off guard?
Sure, it's a great question, and we get asked that a long time. And for over the years, why does somebody do this? And without getting to sounding like too much like a college professor, what I want to really underscore is that people who get to this point in their life usually have a lot of complaints in life, and part of that is to blame other people, blame institutions, blame society for what's happened to them. Then they also have to have the personality traits that contribute to that. So a person who blames others, a person who doesn't take responsibility for their own failures in life. And then in addition to that, you have to have the emotional evolution that occurs as well, because it does take an emotional kind of breakdown to understand that what I'm about to do is to go inside this church where there are hundreds of people and children and kill them. That's just not something that you do from a Saturday to a Sunday. So that evolution that we see in these shootings becomes really important to understand. So my sense is right now, this individual viewed those people inside the church as objects, not as human beings. Now, some people may listen to what I've said and think, well, that sounds like a lot of baloney. But I'm telling you that in order to be able to go in and do this kind of damage, you have to be able to have a certain view of what you're doing to people that are no longer human beings. It's really a very extreme us against them mentality. Turning people into objects makes it easier to kill people. And I've seen that over my 40-plus year career in law enforcement. And that is a mental evolutionary process that they're trying to determine started back at what point in this person's life. And it probably started back well beyond a year, 2 years, maybe even 15 years ago.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.